Beast Mode fragrances. It's one of the most popular fragrance types in the fragrance community. It's one of the most searched things. There's a real desire for it. So I'm going to crack into this very quickly, but there's just two things that I need you to know. The first thing is that many of these are niche or expensive fragrances. Now there's a very good reason for this, and that is quite simply that you get what you pay for. I value beast mode or massive projection, massive longevity fragrances that are also high quality, which leads to the second thing, which is beastly or more performance doesn't necessarily mean better. There are fragrances that are lighter and they don't have to be beast mode like, and they smell fantastic. Sometimes less is indeed more. But the main thing here is that if you want performance that is high, nay, huge, which is what you're looking for, absolutely monstrous, you need it to be high quality. You don't want synthetic crap bursting off of you. Honestly, if you've got something like that, you might as well take your own chances with your own body odor. So we're going to start with number one here. That's 12 hours, maybe a little bit more, and we're going to turn the volume knob up progressively to number 10, which is my most powerful and strongest fragrance in my collection, no doubt. We're going to start with number one. Now this is actually the exception to the rule that I laid out. This is Louis Cardin's Sacred. This is an incredibly strong fragrance, but it won't cost a mortgage. In fact, it's quite cheap or reasonably priced depending on how you look at it. This is very chocolatey with a lot of vanilla. It's quite syrupy and it's quite rich, but it won't be as insanely projecting as some of the more darker and grittier fragrances on this list. But it's vanilla, chocolate, and if you love those notes, especially like really good milk chocolate, like those fancy Lindor milk chocolate bars, specifically the red one that I really love, or if you love those red Lindor chocolate balls, that's the closest thing to this fragrance. It's a very, very specific chocolate, and it's very much like those Lindors with some added vanilla. It's like that, you're spraying that on yourself. So if that sounds appealing, why not? Number two is this, going from one chocolatey scent to another, sort of. This is Behold Patchouli. This is a very, very strong fragrance, and it reminds me of Terry's Chocolate Orange mixed with Musk Ravageur and L'Instant de Guerlain Eau Extrême. This is now pushing over the 12-hour mark a good amount. In fact, the next 3 to 4 fragrances are just pushing over the 12-hour mark, but they are incrementally stronger. But if you like the sound of Terry's Chocolate Orange with that sort of clovish smell with Musk Ravageur, which gives it more of a spine and more of a grounded feeling, and something that's kind of actually quite old school and will pack a real punch with performance, please check out Behold Patchouli. It's Daniel Gallagher's best fragrance in my estimation. Number 3 is a fragrance that you've been hearing me talk about a lot recently, and that is Atkinson's His Majesty the Oud. What is fantastic about this? I've gone over it a million times. It smells a bit like City on Fire, it smells a bit like By the Fireplace. It's got a burning element to it. It's got a tiny, good amount of skankiness from that sort of barnyard oud, but it's never overwhelming, It's just there to keep the real firmness and the balance and an edginess with it, with a vanilla oud combination that is just fantastic, that is reminiscent of 24 Gold. It's mixed up in a lot of those things. And yeah, this is definitely, even on very, very, very cold days, this can go past 12 hours. The longevity and the beastly performance really is well suited and well crafted. There are some fragrances in here that I think that they stay on maybe a little bit too long, or their beastliness doesn't necessarily suit what the theme of the fragrance is going for. But yeah, this is fantastic. I've got a review of this coming out very soon. Number 4 is City Love by Duetto. Now in general, the whole of the Duetto fragrance line is notorious for its performance. with projection longevity. If you haven't checked out Duetto, you should, especially if you've clicked on this video and you want really, really powerful and beast mode fragrances. All of their fragrances, including Citiver, which is a citrus vetiver fragrance, is incredibly beastly. Probably my strongest lasting citrus in my collection. There is one other that is stronger than this, and that is Golden Boy, but I don't own it at the moment, and I didn't really want to showcase something that I don't have. But I'd say that their second most strongest is City Love. This is quite a, as the kids would say, basic bitch rose oud fragrance. But hey, if you are somebody who's wanting to get into rose oud, but you're intimidated by the Killian fragrances and all of the other Saudi Arabian style fragrances, they're a bit too much, they're a bit too crazy, and they're a bit too out there, this can help because it is straightforward, it is quite basic, but it's well priced, reasonably priced, and most importantly to certain people, this has had good feedback. There's not really too much to dislike, there's a lot of sweetness here. And now we get to the fragrance that you probably clicked on this video for, to get maybe some further thoughts on it, or to wonder why this is in my list, especially with the grilling that I gave it. This is Black Tie by Fragrance One. The truth of the matter is this: as I was compiling this list, I looked at this fragrance, it looked back at me, and I just thought to myself, you should be in this list. But all my thoughts and all my comments remain the same. This is a ridiculously overpriced fragrance, an embarrassingly overpriced fragrance, and it should not be the price that it is. But is it one of the most powerful fragrances in my collection right now? Yeah, in fact, it is officially my 5th most powerful fragrance in my collection. So make of that what you will, my statement still stands, but if you're just wanting to know about beast mode fragrances, that's the information that I should be giving to you. And what do you want me to do? Lie? Do you want me to take this out and go, oh, no? Well, that's not really the point of this channel. It's to be accurate and to be concise. This is the 5th most powerful fragrance. It's overwhelming. And again, this is a fragrance where, like I said with Atkinson's, this has got the performance to match the theme and the overall sort of setting of the fragrance. This lingers maybe too long. It doesn't actually really suit what it's going for. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on this too much. I've done a whole saga epic length video about this fragrance. If you are intrigued, then the best thing that I could say is try and get that 10ml decant, or just look for eBay. Even the 10ml decant is grossly overpriced. If you can get this thing for cheap, and you can not get it retailed, then, you know, and if you like the sound of it, more importantly, which is, it's sort of like this jacked up, syrupy, dark rebel by Jean Barbados kind of thing, with some more medicinal elements and quite a hefty leather record. If you like the sound of that, and you can get it for cheap, and you can not get it for the same price of a PlayStation 5, then try your luck. Number 6 is BEHIQUE by RENIER. Damn. I mean, this is, I think I've really, really grown to love this fragrance over the past couple of months, actually. It's incredibly challenging. Do not blind buy this. Don't you dare. This smells like soil. This smells like soil, cannabis, herbs, thrown into a lot of things. There's some wet, grassy greenness, mossiness to it. And I don't know how it's become kind of wearable for me. Maybe it's because of the winter. It's like dangling on a cliff with the wearability, right? And at any moment, it's like two fingers, right? And if it just falls, then that's it. It's just not wearable. It's that close. It's that fine a margin with the wearability of this fragrance. Now, of course, that's just my personal take on it. For some of you, you will not be able to wear this, and for others, you'll go, hang on, this is completely wearable. But to me, it really is like on a paper thin edge. It's a fragrance to be respected. And that's a top 10 list that you can have, Dallas, top 10 fragrances that are to be respected. You can have that one for free, mate. It's spicy, green, and earthy and soily, and it's a complete beast. This is now moving from like 12 plus hours to we're going round to the 18-hour mark, really. It's a true beast. Number 6, yeah, this is 18 hours easily. This is Interlude Man by AMOUAGE. All right, it's a fragrance that I smell it and I go, that's amazing, that's brilliant. But then, and for the art and everything, but when I put it on, it's just like soot. It's just like soot, and it's not like Tuscan Leather. Tuscan Leather has that soot kind of feeling, but with some sweetness that I can handle. But this is just, I used to, when I grew up in Scotland, there was an open fire, and every 6 months we'd have to have somebody come in and clean it, and like the whole living room had to be like locked off, and the smell of it would just be hardcore like soot everywhere, and it would, you know, nearly decimate the living room for like 4 or 5 days. And that smell is Interlude Man for me. You know, there's some florals as well. It's a difficult one, man. It's a real difficult one. But yeah, is it one of the most powerful fragrances I own right now? Like easily. We are getting up a notch here. Now we're going 18 hours plus. We're going to basically, with these fragrances, it's the whole day. And especially now with this one, if you just leave it, it will linger around. You will have had a shower at this point, please, to get this one off. This is Galleria. This is Victorian tobacco. Man, what is it with these YouTubers and putting these beastly fragrances out? I was a little shook with just how powerful this one is, and Cognac Cafe is quite powerful, but this one just knocks Cognac Cafe and the rest out with performance. These are some very, very strong fragrances, and like I said, I'm kind of getting the tobacco now more, and I get it. It's very sweet, but what I really get out of Victorian tobacco is it smells like whiskey desserts. It's like that you get at Christmas, those chocolates that are filled with alcohol. And but somebody like, so you're eating like these chocolate whiskey, like either truffles or little chocolate things, and somebody in the far corner of the room is like smoking a cigar, and the tobacco is just kind of wavering in, and so you get hints of it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I get from Victorian tobacco. It's going to be quite an easy fragrance to review. Now we get to number 9. This is Oud Satin Mood. And again, it's another one of those fragrances where I feel as though the beastliness of it doesn't quite fit, and it's quite linear, so it's deceiving. This is a problem with Oud Satin Mood that's never really talked about. It's a very, very, very linear fragrance. You put that first initial blast on, and it's gigantic vanilla and oud with some rose just kind of like wisping over the whole experience. But you can be blasting and projecting like nobody's business, but your nose will get overwhelmed. It's so linear, and you'll just get olfactory fatigue immediately. And so you're like 2 or 3 hours in, and you're like, am I rocking Oud Satin Mood? But trust me, you are. It's ridiculous. If you go into the city, and it's like freezing cold, snowing, -5, 10 degrees centigrade, you put that on, you'll be absolutely blasting the blocks. So an incredibly vicious fragrance, and for some people, easily, it would be their most monstrous and beastly fragrance. But it's not for me. Before we get to my biggest beast mode, I don't know, I'm running out of like words here. Yeah, before we get to that nonsense, I've got an honourable mention here, and this is Parfums de Molly Herod. I actually initially did put this on the list. I think that if I did put this on the list, it would be just after Behique, just before Interlude Man. Whenever I mention Herod, it's a beast. This bottle is an absolute freaking beast on me. It really is. Like, as I said, it would beat Behique. But every time I mention that about Herod, people like, well, I've bought the latest version, I've bought the most recent release, and it's very weak on me, and all that kind of stuff. And then there'll be like a little argument that started, and people go, well, you've got a fake then, and everything. And there is that possibility, but I've just seen that all the time, so many times. So for me, Herod, this bottle is an absolute beast, but I got to be responsible, and I can't completely recommend it because I'm just seeing too many people saying that it's no longer a beast and it's actually just like quite weak now. Don't know what the story is, don't know what's going on, don't know if they are fakes, don't know if Parfums de Mali has reformulated or anything like that. I don't know. Demi Rawling probably knows. What is the most beastliest, ridiculous, out of this world, insane? I should get a thesaurus and just like a Chris Jericho promo, just like bombastic, beastly, super vivacious, loud, gigantic, I don't know, obnoxious, armbar, I don't know, is from the House of Zoologist, and it is quite simple. It's Tyrannosaurus Rex. This makes all of these, if I may, look like weak little bitches, right? It's kind of like there's this and then there's these, and these are all like really cute. I've worn this quite a lot, and it's like, it's going to get a cutaway or something. It's not even like got to the edge, because what I do is I spray like I won't even do it now because that's it for me for the day. Spray a little bit and then pat and that's it. I'm good for like 3 days. That's not an over exaggeration, and that's not me being silly. That's not me being sort of hyperbole. That's just how it is. It's I will never, like, one of the only problems with that is that, like, I don't know how Victor's going to kind of make a business model out of that, because I will never need another bottle of this in my entire life. When I first sprayed this on, right, I put it on, I did 2 sprays, and I will burn incense. I've burned incense here before. And I remember thinking, is there patchouli incense burning? Have I left patchouli incense burning somewhere? But it wasn't the incense that was burning, it was me. It's so beastly, almost to a fault. In fact, kind of to a fault. So yeah, Victor Wong does not fuck around, and T-Rex is easily the strongest. But it's to the point where, look, I get it, you want strong fragrances, and I totally respect that and understand that. But don't buy this thinking, oh right, well now people will notice me. If you put that on and you don't know what you're dealing with, and you don't know what's going on, you'll put that on, you will go into work and people will be like, dude, wash that off, get a shower. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, hope that you got a lot out of it. These are the strongest fragrances that I have in my collection for 2021. And what strong, beastly fragrances do you have? In fact, even better, what fragrances do you have that they're so strong it's to a fault, as in it actually sort of makes it so that they're quite difficult to wear? Right, thank you. I'm the Fragrance Press. I'll see you soon. Bye.